All right, our next question. Is Mike acting this way because of his social status? Why do high profile people think they can get away with outrageous behavior just because they have a title? You would think they would be more cautious because of their title. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I don't know if Mike's doing it because of his title or if it's just his personality, period. Um, but I do think because he's the DA, right?
Yeah,
So
assistant.
I do think it might fluff his ego a little bit to that. Oh yeah, I am that guy. I am that dude. To make him feel like he can do it even that much more. And I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure he's doing it to more than just Malia. He just seems like the type to just have more than
Yeah,
one woman that he's pushing
yeah,
up. So
yeah.
and
They don't usually just have one victim.
exactly. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I have often questioned that too. Like, why do our people, like our government officials, why are they not more cautious about the things that they do because of their title? They have this respect, within the community, and you would think they would be more cautious, but there's just so much stuff going on with like embezzlement and
Right.
inappropriate behavior, things being caught on camera, them talking to people crazy. And it's just like, do you not, even in the church,
I was gonna say that too.
oh my goodness. And it's like, what made you think that this was okay? Like, people do not respect their titles. And that's something that Karina and I have talked about over this past year is if you're not going to respect your title, I'm not going to respect your
I'm
title.
not.
And I feel like people need to start doing that more so people can pipe down. Like, just because you're a pastor, but you're not acting like pastor, and you're out here
I'm not
disrespecting,
calling you nothing. You're James
then
or
you're gonna lose
Joel or
your job. You
something.
should not be
Stop.
exalted as a pastor.
So,
Your position should
I'm
be
not calling
taken.
you pastor nothing. You ain't acted like one.
Yeah,
Well,
all the way across the board. So that's my piece.
yeah.
Mm.
Alicia.
I agree with Kyrie. I just think that's his personality. It wouldn't matter if he was a bum on the street or, he is a DA. I just think that's him. He's full of himself. He knows he's fine. Um, and so it's like, how I don't understand this. Why you don't want me? I'm such a catch, blah, 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 and now I'm kind of thinking maybe when he piped down a little bit, let go of her arm and um, kind of went into desperation mode. He might have caught the attention of some people. When you guys are having a hushed argument, and then all of a sudden, you grab somebody's arm and then you squeeze. He may have gotten somebody's attention, and people are like, "Wait, ain't that the DA? Like, hold on, who's that guy? Why is he grabbing that girl like that?" And once he caught attention, he kind of let go and went into that desperation
Went
mode
in that
because he's
victim mode. Yes, girl.
yeah, I think that that's what happened as
She
far
made
as
me
him
do it.
being a little cautious. Yeah,
She made me
once
do
he probably grabbed people's attention
it.
and
Mm-hmm.
then it was
I've
like,
been in
okay,
situations like
but
that.
he still didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't just walk off. He's like, come on, please. Like he wanted to
I'm really a nice
finish trying to
guy.
convince her, but yeah. So I
Mm-mm.
think he
He
was
was calculated there.
practicing a little bit of caution once he may have caught some attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's because otherwise he probably, like I said, I couldn't understand if he did all that and, are you out your effing mind and stuff like that, why he didn't smack her down or nothing or try to swing on her or even
Too public.
snatch her. He just grabbed her arm. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, And I do, yeah, I believe people should be cautious of their titles and deserving of their titles. Don't tell me you're this, and especially in the church. Um, I did what I probably shouldn't put people in the church or anything politically or anything on a pedestal, but you put yourself up there as somebody to be looked up to, somebody to look towards, and then you do stuff grimier than me. I don't think you're deserving of that title. And so, I don't know.
No,
That's
I
my
fully
little 2
agree.
cents.
And I mean, like you were saying that people will say, well, you shouldn't put people on pedestals. Well, that's a lie. And I'll tell you why. Because you can say, well, just because that person's a politician doesn't mean that they're not a bad person. So when a person gets married and they're in a relationship, they sat up there and they took a vow to be with that person and only that person. Everybody in society has a standard and belief system that since you married her or she married you, you're done cheating, right? You're done out in the street. So is that putting apart? Well, you shouldn't put people on pedestals who are married.
Mm,
You use that same analogy, and you're like, yeah, huh? You signed up to be committed in this relationship with this one person. So now we shouldn't put you on the pedestal of holy matrimony and monogamy. You're still single.
mm,
You're still for the streets, right? No, you think that being married means okay, you're done with all that. You found your soulmate or your life partner, whoever you're going to journey with for the next 10 to 15 years, right? Before you mess that up. There are certain expectations when you are in certain positions. I send my kids to school, I expect them to be taught. If the teacher's up there filing her nails and talking to her homegirl like, ma'am, I have the expectation. That's not me putting you on a pedestal. That's me expecting you to do what you signed up for. Mike was bred for this. He was born into this world and he is this golden child for his mother. We're going to find out in later chapters just how powerful Mike's family is. But Mike was raised from a very early age to believe that he was somebody in the royal family. His mother and his family pumped him up. You are this, you are that. He had all of the amenities, all of the everything that anybody could possibly imagine having put into them to make them a winner. He was born for this. And he has an entitlement now. I don't have to respect you. I don't have to talk kindly to people. I don't have to have one woman. What are you talking about? Do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I dare you to stop me. And now he's in this position of power where you're assistant district attorney. This is law enforcement, essentially. You guys are enforcing the law. So you work with detectives, you work with the police, you work with judges, you work with other attorneys. You guys prosecute, you go after people. And now he's looking like, I know people. I have power. I can type something in the computer and look up your whole background, all of your information. I can exploit you. So he's just like using all of his power for good, not for good, but for bad. And so, yeah, he has allowed his ego and his title to make him act very inappropriately. And yes, if you are a pastor, you shouldn't be out embezzling money or sleeping with your members, male or female. You shouldn't be molesting children. Shouldn't be beating people up either. Because I saw something a couple of years ago where this person got into an argument with their pastor about why they wasn't going to pay their tithes and offering, and the pastor just knuckled the dude up, like just bah. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, your pastor beat you down, like he gave homeboy them ones and them twos. He was like float like a butterfly.
he needed that money. He
He was
had
like,
them
run me my
tithes
check.
spent.
He's like, run me my money. You know what I'm saying? And dude was like, I ain't giving you nothing. The pastor was like, okay. And he was like, bah. And I was like, oh my God, who does that? So, but people definitely do
Wow.
use titles and power to manipulate others and get what they want. And I'm going to say this. You're only as powerful as the flunkies around you who allow you to be. When you think about I said flunkies. If you think about the hierarchy of mafia or organized crime, there's like that one person who's like the top person, right? They don't get their hands dirty. They don't do nothing. I'm not saying they was never about that life. I'm not saying that they never did anything ever to prove their position and their status. But we talking about right now, you haven't done nothing in a long time. You have given out orders and you told the flunkies to go run off and do the work. So if anything happens, there's you and there's like 10 other people you got to go through. You got to go up the ladder to figure that out. And that's a whole bunch of snitching that a whole bunch of people ain't doing. Some people going to flip. They're going to turn state evidence. Facts. But there's gonna be some who are like, I'm just gonna do my time. Because I know if I say something, they know where my mama live. They know where my daddy live. They coming for me in jail anyway. So Mike is he's definitely personifying this Rose City two-faced character person. And we saw it with the whole I'm speaking to you horribly. I'm grabbing you by your arm. I'm making threats. I mean, at one point, he's making threats against her. I'll call your mother and father. Like, what are you going to say to them? You going to force, sir? Frank, really good talk to you. I haven't spoke to you in 5 years. I still want Malia. You know, if that old
Frank
raggedy
got
couch is
drug
still ready to go.
problems.
Yeah, if you still have that raggedy couch out there in that dusty garage, I want her. You can't come and
Mm-mm.
dust people off acting like they furniture, reserved for you if you ever just want. There's a problem with people not thinking that people have choice. Malia doesn't owe that man nothing. And he acted up and
Mm-mm.
then he switched and became a victim after he gaslit her. She went off and cussed him out and everything, and they went back and forth. Somebody probably did see him like, oh my God, what is that man doing? And he wants to be now the heartbroken ex-boyfriend who's just trying to win the love of his life back. No, thank you. Kyrie, come on, girl. I saw you come up off night. I'm ready.
I was just thinking, it's really given Mama's Boy, and I thought it was interesting you touched on that,
Highest
how
level.
he was treated, from a child. And I'm like, yeah, he seemed like
Golden
he
boy.
was spoiled, gotten everything. Nobody ever said no. And if they did said no, he called his mom called some
Mhm.
people, and I mean, he's just really given that energy. And then now it's just turned him into this horrible human being. He just thinks he can just throw a fit and get whatever he wants.
Absolute power brings absolute corruption. Nobody needs to be all powerful. I don't care where you're at in life. Stay humble. God gives it and he can take it back. And I've seen him do it. And Lisa and I be laughing. I'd be like, if I try to get too big headed, God will throw me down. I'm like instant karma.
I
If you
mean,
see me
like
laying on the ground,
literally, she will break a hill mid stride and
because I thought I was too
yeah,
cute. God's like,
completely collapse. I'm like, how
and I've
does
had
that
that happen.
happen?
Had that happen. I was just feeling myself one day. I was just so cute. And honey, I was like, my heel broke in safe way. God was like, I got you. And I've had many occurrences happen like that. And so I'll hear voices like, stop acting up. And I'm like, let me humble myself. So I stay humble now because God will instantly jack me up. And I'm like, this has to be God because Lord Jesus, if it's anything else, I'm scared. But yeah, stay humble because you can have it all today. And then tomorrow it can all be gone. And like, my mom and dad used to have this prayer that they used to pray, thank you, Lord, for life, health, and strength. And I didn't understand that, like life, health, and strength. What does that mean? It means that today I'm healthy, I have life, I'm strong, I can do the things I have to do. We don't know what tomorrow looks like. We don't know what 5 years down the road looks like. People are developing, conditions that are hereditary or something that just pop up out of nowhere. You could be paralyzed. Like you really got to live in the moment and be grateful for where you're at because anything can happen and change your whole entire world. Mike is full of himself. He's never been told no. His mother brought him up as a golden boy. And it was like, no, you're going to have whatever you want whenever you want it, and everybody's going to bow down to you. Prince Michael.
Prince Michael.
Prince Michael.
Okay. Oh,
It
I'm sorry.
happened.
It's just
Yeah.
he's such a butthole. So to refer to him, it's always he's Mike the jackass. So to have him come across as Prince Michael,
Prince
I don't know, it
Michael.
was funny. Our next question. I hope Chan finds out about sorry. I hope Chan finds out about this and does to Mike what he did to Malia's dad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, what would
Mm.
you do in this situation? Now, me personally, it cops would have been called at some point. I would have threw a chair.
Right.
That's me.
Mhm.
But when I was reading this, I was wondering because he has her under surveillance. He's watching her every move. I believe he knows that the speed dating thing is going on. And I'm sitting here thinking, once he grabbed her by the arm, I don't know if he has like any way of hearing what is going on. But if he did have some way of hearing it, she's like, get the F away from me and blah, 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 blah. And he's just sitting back watching this like it's a TV show. I was wondering for me, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm surprised the Triads didn't come in there and turn that place out. Like, because when Chan first saw her at the club or whatever, and he was like, watching her from a distance, and he saw, I believe it was her and Mike's interaction
Mhm.
before, and
Right.
his thought was, do I have to take this guy out later? So I'm like, now you pretty much got the info. You got, yeah, this might be it's something you're gonna have to take care of, because he's not letting up. um and so I don't know if I hope. I just, hope Mike does get the message and just leave her alone, move on. I don't even think he's divorced. He's not divorced yet, is he?
That's what he says.
Oh, he ain't. Um, he's not. Um, so yeah, I wondered about that. I'm like, okay, he's keeping an eye on her every move down to the dollar. How does he not know that she's having this very uncomfortable interaction? I mean, he's not her dude, but he's pretty much claimed her. I mean, he told her dad, he'd kill her if she didn't love him. So he's pretty much, claimed his territory, whether she's aware of it or not. But I don't know. That may come later on.
I think I would have pulled the, oh, wow, I'm surprised you're here. Hold on. I need to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. And then I
I
will
Mm,
would have
go out
followed
and
her pin that be.
that would have
that's
been
how I
it.
would handle that. None of this
Mhm.
conversation would have ever happened. And if it did, if I was just in a state of shock where I just kind of got, deer caught in the headlights, and stuck there, and I'm calling Corenna. That's the only way I would have been there in the first place. Corenna, help! I'm calling security. Ain't no
Man,
way I'm gonna let this man sit here and talk crazy to me, let alone grab
let
me.
me, let me know. We'll
Sir.
come through.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Quick, fast,
Mm-mm.
and in a hurry. We
Yeah.
got that.
Mm-mm.
You just really start to see certain things come out of people, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm not afraid of anything. Like when I was younger, before I was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm afraid. I don't know what happened, but I'm just not afraid. So yeah, if you called me up, he was doing something he had no business doing, we would have taken care of that action. And even though I know he's bigger than us, there are ways to deal with people who are bigger than you to equal the playing field. So what would I have done in that situation? Well, this is, I'm gonna say, what Alicia was saying. I believe that Chan is keeping a very close eye on Malia, and I think that because it's Monday, they met Friday night. Um, he's watching, but at the same time, she has no clue. She doesn't even know if she'll ever see him again at this point. He didn't get the phone number. He didn't get the digits. She don't know if he's ever gonna, she's ever gonna run into him again. And he knows they will, but she has no clue. So I feel like even if Chan is watching this whole thing play out, I feel like he's probably somewhere punching the air because he's like, how do I intervene without it being like, I just so happen to be here myself this evening on a speed date? So I think that's like where the dilemma is. But I definitely believe that Chan knows he's getting some kind of feedback somehow, some way. This woman is being followed. He knows what's going on. He has to know. How would I
Mm.
have dealt with the situation? I would have enjoyed giving Mike everything I had to give him. I mean, yeah, Malia sitting there talking crazy. Oh, I would have gave it. I would have gave it, and I would have got reckless. I would have got loud because again, we were always, just don't go to places. Be ghetto. Don't be those black girls. Have some decorum. You know, present yourself as a lady. I'm not gonna be a lady. I'm gonna be a monster. So, I would have handled him. I would.
Mhm.
I mean, I would have. I would have. I would have really enjoyed. I know y'all like, I gotta get up and leave. No, I'm gonna sit at that table because I got some stuff I gotta say. I want to clear the air on your ass. Like I'm airing it out.
We could do that at the police station. I say get rowdy first. We could talk
Yeah,
later.
I'm gonna handle him. Like I don't know. I would have just. I would have broke him down. I'd have been like, over the years, you've really made me question myself.
And
And
you
now I
would
know
tear
why.
into him very sweetly too. You'll be like,
Oh
let
yeah.
me ask you a few
You,
things.
yeah, you know how to tear into
And
people.
you tear
Oh yeah.
into him, like bring
Like, how
him
did you
down.
even come up with that?
I
Where did
know.
that come from?
Breaking him down on a mental and emotional. Because by the time I get done with you, you're never gonna call me back again. Like, and that's the goal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's talk about this, Mike, because you were just so hell bent on having me, and this is what you're gonna end up. You're gonna end up with a serpent. Okay, you're gonna end up with some evil demonic beast that you don't. You're gonna be like, at the end of the day, I couldn't imagine coming back to you every day and you behave this way and you like it and it's a game to you. Oh no.
And you
So that's
like
what I
it?
feel like at this point, she's done with him. She has no love for him. She can't be what she wants to be with him. She has to find somebody else new who she can tap back into that soft, beautiful side of herself where she can freely love without judgment. Because at this point, Mike has done way too much. You know, now he's making threats against her family. He's making threats against her. He's letting her know you can do this the easy way, the hard way. When you give me choices like that, I have no other option but to go for the hard way. Don't ever challenge me. Don't ever do it because I'm gonna call you out. Bring it. I want to see what the hard way look like. You talking big trash? I want that work. Come bring it. I want to see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Because
Karina?
I bet you I can match that energy.
Mm.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Yeah, it's my
Yep.
turn.
Mhm.
It was this. The audacity of Mike to believe Malia is broken by him and can't move on due to heartbreak. Why do abusive people behave like this? This scene was a nightmare to read. He needs help. I think we kind of, summed it up. Mike does need help. Mike is a narcissist on the highest level. He doesn't see how he's treated this young woman, how it's impacted her in such a, profound way. And I think it's also been a good thing. Like I know things I've been through is like, dang, Corenna is just a savage. But at the same time, I really like this new savage person. I really like this because now I know nobody else is gonna be able to try me like this. But yeah, Mike needs help. He needs to realize that there's consequences for your behavior. I think if you mistreat people and people just like bring you back into the fold, it's okay, right? What happens is you're like, well, apparently it wasn't that bad. Because if it was that bad, more people would be putting boundaries and stipulations up. You know what I mean? Like, so
Mhm.
that's why it's really dangerous for people to just be so, I forgive. I don't care if it's family. I'm not forgetting. I'm not moving on with you. This is where we stop. Because if people don't start showing folks that when you abuse people and you hurt people and you manipulate people, um, the consequences are those people can cut you off and never have nothing else to do with you and you can't get them back. But when
Right.
everybody's just like water under the bridge, it's okay. What happens is it's like, I don't have to, like, we know somebody, Alicia, who says, I don't apologize, even when they're wrong. How many times did she say to us, I don't apologize? What? Ma'am.
And the thing is, and be dead wrong.
She
I'm
was so
like,
wrong about everything. And she would literally look you in, I'm not going to apologize.
I'm not gonna apologize. If I say I'm sorry, I'd be lying.
And I'm like, whoa, you just offended people.
Toxic as
And,
heck. Sorry, Lord Jesus,
and
correct.
this is somebody we're talking about in our family. And it's a female because we said she. So what I'm saying. Um, And no matter what she does to people, there will never be an apology. And you better not
Mm-mm.
ask for one because if you, I'm not going to, that I'd be lying. So, okay. All right. Um, let me mute myself. Go ahead, you guys.
And we'll brag about. Never mind. This ain't. She don't need no shine either. She know who she is. But I wanted to say that I think Malia is actually, well, maybe not anymore. She's had to heal from that, but he did break her and he did break her heart. Um, but the audacity to think that she's just completely unable to move on, that's the kicker for me. I'm like, bruh,
Mhm.
no, she did heal. She was able to move. But yeah, he did some mess like that. And for him to think, yeah, well, that's okay. I'm gonna just come back. I'm sorry. I know I hurt you. I know I did this to you, but I'm back. I'm here to come get you back. Not I'm sorry for doing this to you. Just yeah, I know what I did, and come on, give me your hand. No, no, sir. It's it took some healing, and now that I've done my healing, you need to go that way. You need to go somewhere else with all that energy. Go back to your wife. We know you ain't divorced. Go put that energy into your wife.
Go put
Put
her
that
through
energy
that.
into your wife. You know. So yeah, it was I wouldn't say a nightmare. He's a nightmare. But it was, I read that and I was just rooting for Malia. I was like, yeah, girl, just give him all that. All that. And some more. Put some stank on
Mm.
it. Like I was rooting for her reading that whole chapter. She's just like, because I really thought at some point she'll be like, okay, we'll talk about this later. Okay, just go. I'll call you later or something like that. So to see her stand 10 toes down and be like, nah, bruh, this ain't gonna fly this time. No. I was proud of her. I was very proud of her this chapter. So yeah, Malia, go Malia. Go ahead, Kyrie.
I think Mike, him playing on her brokenness was kind of a way to kind of get inside and say, "You must have loved me so much. That's why it hurt you so bad that you haven't been able to move on." I think that was a way for him to kind of dig in and try to pull, well, maybe you're right. Well, I still do have these feelings, but I'm happy she didn't fall for it. um, and the other question was, why do abusive people behave like this? We always hear the saying, hurt people. And, children that have seen abuse could possibly grow up to be abusive people. But, what about the people that came from good backgrounds? They've never seen any of that. They weren't done wrong by anybody.
Right.
It's just in them to be assholes,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, I
Mhm.
have met a few of those people, and I mean, it's just boggled my mind because it's like you don't have any backstory of, your parents mistreating you, they were on drugs, they beat you over the head, your best friend betrayed you, and like you don't have any of these stories. Why are you out here acting a
Yep.
whole damn demon, with
Right.
people?
Mhm.
It's very mind boggling, you know. And then for the other people that have seen this level of abuse, that has been hurt, it's like, why are you continuing to follow those things? Like, why would you hurt somebody else in a way that hurt you so bad? Why would you want to turn around and do that to somebody else? You know? So yeah, I mean, it could really go either way. And if you don't know that person's history, you don't really know why they are projecting the abuse that they are projecting. But it's definitely something that I mean, either way, you should stay, get away from it. Don't stick around, don't F around and find out,
For
it's just
real.
not worth it at the end of the day, but I think it's very interesting. I've seen, a few different dynamics and people that have shown abusive behavior. And I know for myself, I have a lot of trauma in the past from being abused and mistreated, but it always made me want to be a nicer person still, even those moments where I was like, I'm going to start being mean to people and get ugly because that's just, what people are doing out here. You got to protect yourself. It's a dog eat dog world. Like you get dark and you get angry sometimes because you're just so fed up, but then after I cried about it, and I'm just like, no, there has to be peace in this world. There has to be somebody that's standing up and that's willing to be different and treat people right, regardless of people mistreating people, so you do have other people out there that are standing in the balance despite how they've been treated, and choosing not to abuse people just because people have hurt them too. So,
Well
yeah,
said.
yeah. And Mike does need help. He needs help to a dumpster around back.
Chopped in multiple pieces.